I throw some weight up on it, you know we touch pies. I send my Trojans with some bangers for that rough ride.
Peace to the guys and the goddesses.
You ain't dwelling with the team until you touch sky. Don't turn your face up on it to get your back burned. You heard my cases, homie, yeah, I'm a clapper. You say you is a Martian, we'll make a back turn. This evolution, what's the death when it's the sad time? I'm on it, like I just popped it this morning. My daughter told me kill shit, and daddy always gave whatever she wanted. That bitch can keep a platonic. She treated it like a tonic. She my BPJ like a piece of cake that she couldn't say for the morning. Before we take you out like a bitch.
Peace to the guys and the goddesses, man. I hope everybody, having a good time at this point in time in the week, doing well for yourself and for your family. That's definitely what counts. If you ain't doing that, man, then you ain't doing nothing. But anyways, man, we gonna hit y'all with a little knowledge right here, man. Street knowledge. Things that, you live and you die by in the hood. More or less being like, let's say, snitching. Now, it's been a lot of stuff going around on the internet talking about, like Jay Prince, whether or not he was snitching. And I never really, got up on, what was going on with the situation, because at the end of the day, man, Jay Prince, he get a lot of respect in the hood. But, it's certain people out there in the world, like, they got that type of personality where they really don't care who you is or what you done did in your whole entire life. How many people you done killed, how many hoods you done took over, you know what I mean? And some people really don't care, and I have to be honest with you, I'm one of those people. Like, your background and your history, it really doesn't affect me. I've gone through the motions of where people that was not in my circumference, not in my, in my circle, they didn't even exist to me if you wasn't in that circle. So I totally, understand those people who really don't give a fuck about what that dude talking about, and they willing to go at him on any cause at the end of the day, because I'm one of those type of people. But you got a lot of people out there that was calling him a snitch, even though them boys snitched on themselves. They got wrapped up for themselves. There's no way in this world I'm gonna commit a robbery and then post it up on social media. I ain't that thirsty for clout. I can't do it. I can't bring myself to even think about doing it. So basically, in a sense, he shouldn't have went up on there. It said what he said, but in a sense, they was real stupid for what they did. They gave the evidence. He just called names. You posting videos up with the dude chains, what you expect to happen? And then at that, you from New York, so you should be even way more smarter than that. New York is cameraed up. Every block got about 5-6 cameras. See each and every way that you move, you possibly move. That's how it is in New York City. It's like that here where I'm at too in Rochester. I remember when they first started putting up the cameras in the early 2000s, the mid 2000s. I remember when they started putting up the cameras, but what Jay Prince did, you could classify it as snitching, and what they did, you could classify it as self-snitching. You could classify his as dry snitching, even though he called names. That's what you never do. You never call names. And he shouldn't have never took it to social media. Just like Hocus said, like, yo, I got a phone, man. You can reach out. You can reach out at any time regarding anything that, happened in the situation. But we want to get in the mindset of basically this non-snitching rule. Because I feel like this: if you a law-abiding citizen and you doing everything by the book, you're not committing any crimes, you working, you taking care of your family, you living a good life. Those people at that point in time, they have the option to snitch. They have the option to call the police. But if you in the hood and you a gangster and you living that life, nah, bro, you can't snitch. That's what you can't do. There's no way you could be in doing the same shit as somebody else and then run around and tell. It don't work like that. And what's made it even worse in the world is that people accept that's out in the world. You had like back in the days when a nigga would snitch, soon as the word get out to the streets, he done. Nowadays, you get a word from the street, oh, this nigga snitching. But people will still be chilling around this dude like it won't happen to them. I remember, like, it was a family member of mine, and even though I couldn't do nothing to him, I had to let him know, like, don't worry about ever doing a crime with me. Because he talking about, like, yo, listen, man, if I get caught, man, if I ain't the one that do it, man, I'm telling. I'm like, oh, don't worry about ever doing a crime with me. And he has never worried about doing a crime with me. If I was doing a crime, he would not be there. For the simple fact that I know you would tell. Whether I'm fam or not, I believe you would tell. That family shit don't count when it comes to niggas dropping a dime on you. That they looking for a way out. They'll snake you on the street and they'll snake you behind bars too. It really don't. Ain't no way around it. So you got to stay away from those people. But a law-abiding citizen, a person that's doing something positive with their life, and they're not committing any crimes, they have the option to snitch. They have the option to call the police and be like, yo, listen, this person right there is doing something either to me or something that's around me and is fucking up the dwelling that I got going on right now. They liable to. I don't put it past them. You could be mad that they did, but you can't really put it past them or at fault them because that's what they are a citizen. They are likely to do that. They have the right to do that, especially if you committing a crime. So I just want to get that through your head, like as far as with people snitching. People, you got the ones that can snitch, and you got the ones that can't snitch. Things that you could hold down and let it weigh on your shoulders, or things you could just let go. It all depends on the situation that the person putting themselves in. If you putting yourself into a crime, a criminal organization, or anything that's illegal, and you get caught and you tell, that's not right. Because you was living that life. Ain't nobody put no gun to your head and say, oh, you got to sell this or you got to do that. You did that. And if you put that in the case of with Jay Prince, at this point in his life, to be honest with you, he is a law-abiding citizen. Even though he going around making threats like he a gangster, portraying the gangster, the gangster side of him. But at the end of the day, he is a law-abiding citizen. If he wanted to bring it up on the internet, he had every right to. He had every right to, at the end of the day, if he wasn't. You get what I'm saying? Because everybody gonna do what they want to do, and you have to respect it. You ain't gotta like it, but you gotta hold that down. So even if a criminal do snitch, at the end of the day, that's their prerogative. They're gonna do it, regardless of not whether you like it or not. So you have to deal with it. You don't have to respect it, but you have to deal with it. But what he did, I really don't. I put fault and then I don't put fault. I don't put fault for the simple fact is, he a law-abiding citizen. He living in a good, positive way at this point in time. Where I do put fault on him is you portraying to be this boogeyman, this gangster who's doing all this shit, but you still putting niggas' names out so the feds can pick it up. So he right and he wrong at the same time. But he definitely wrong, because if you portraying this gangster shit, talking about mob ties, global, and all, no, bruh. Listen, I was banging for the majority of my life. I'm not talking mob ties with nobody. Fuck all that mob ties. Let's do human race ties. Let's do black ties. Let's do people ties. Nothing that's gonna sit up there and give the person the idea that it's something illegal. You gotta be smart with everything that you say and everything that you do. You don't want to put yourself in a not positive life, especially after you don't release the book. If you don't release the book, that means you gaining the masses of not just gangsters and people, black people that's coming up, but you're going to the suburbans, to the mids, to the higher ups. You get what I'm saying? Especially if you want to be a author, you got to portray yourself in a certain light to get yourself good press. Because with authors, good press brings the money. Bad press lowers the sales. But, beyond that, man, everybody stay blessed, man. And have a great night.